There is an important aspect of studying the ancient speaker named Jesus in relation to the nameless ancient writers who wrote about him. That is, the writer and the speaker did not exist at the same time. The vast majority of biblical scholars know this, but Christian teachers often overlook it to make dogmatic points. The biblical accounts are not biblical accounts at all, but rather presumed stories based on the scuttlebutt going around at the time, a generation or two after Jesus died. In the last video, we looked at an ancient writer's depiction of what might have been Jesus' primary principles concerning humility, gentleness, morality, mercy, motivation, and peace. The ancient writer wrote of a hypothetical speech. As the ancient writer continues, he has Jesus saying, in essence, this way of being may be untimely and inconvenient. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others cast insults at you and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely on account of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. The speaker's followers probably experienced abuse because of religion's response to the speaker's words. The last two statements about being content, blessed, address that abuse. The writer has Jesus referencing the kingdom of heaven once more, the place within one's sovereign self where peace may or may not reside. I refer you to the For Heaven's Sakes playlist, as we have already studied this metaphorical principle. Those with this mindset adjust their lives, allowing life to ebb and flow as required to be this way. It has always been this way for those who resist religion. The ancient writer then has Jesus saying one is either in or out of this way of being. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has become tasteless, how will it be made salty again? It is good for nothing anymore except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by people. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under the peck measure, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before others in such a way that they may see your good works and appreciate Theos, who is in heaven. Here, three metaphors illustrate being in and out of the way. First, taste and tasteless. In the way, I taste good. Out of the way, I am thrown out, underfoot, and useless. Secondly, shelter, which may and may not be found. In the way, people find refuge in me. Out of the way, they cannot find me at all. Finally, light allowed to shine and prevented from shining. In the way, I brighten their lives. Out of the way, I leave them in the dark. The ancient writer has Jesus saying, I should allow the modest way of being residing in me in such a way that my visceral response to others draws attention to Theos, the goodness in me. It would seem, according to the ancient writer, Jesus was under considerable pressure. His opening words mesmerize some and irritate others. His listeners are dependent upon religion. They have positive feelings about their captors. The ancient writer has Jesus tempering the bias religion has already installed in his listeners. Do not think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or stroke shall pass away from the law, until all is accomplished. Whoever then annuls one of the least of these commandments, and so teaches others, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever keeps and teaches them, that one shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say to you, that unless your righteousness surpasses that of religion, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Were these commandments referring to the so-named 10 Commandments? I doubt it. The assertions more likely referred to the opening principles the ancient writer attributed to Jesus in the 36 seconds that preceded this statement. Both those who keep and teach these commandments poorly and those who keep and teach these commandments well, he says, will be seen as in the kingdom of heaven within oneself, only to a lesser or greater degree. That is, some internalize the way more completely than others. Thus, this way of being has greater effect over some than others. Then the writer exposes the most difficult thread of this theoretical speech. For I say to you, unless you can do better than religion, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven at all. The peace the writer has the speaker proposing simply does not evolve from religion, but from an inward way of being. The writer appears to have Jesus softening listener resistance while guarding against religious anger. He says he did not aspire to take the law or the prophets away. It is his plan to fulfill. Knowledge of the religious law and of the prophets of old is religion's hold over much of society, even today. I hear him saying something as simple as, I know how attached you are to your religion. What you might be thinking. Let us remain calm. Please hear me out. And I ask you the same. To hear me out as well. In the next video, as we move to the ancient writer's depiction of Jesus' 6 illustrations of this fulfillment, he proposed a shift from just doing religion to being in the way.